By now, most of us have seen the viral videos of grooms destroying their own wedding cake and calling it a prank and laughing about it on their wedding day. Well, in this article, this particular bride wanted a divorce just one day after the wedding due to the groom's wedding day cake stunt. So, this is the article. A woman says she wants to divorce her husband just a day after getting married because of the wedding day cake prank he pulled. The newlywed detailed the situation in Slate's Dear Prudence advice column last year, explaining exactly why she wanted to end her relationship. She says, I got married just before Christmas and am hoping to be divorced or annulled by the end of January. I never cared about getting married, but I wasn't opposed to it. So when my boyfriend proposed in 2020, we decided to go for it. We each took on about half of the responsibility for organizing the wedding, but I think I was pretty reasonable about compromise when he really wanted something. There was only one hard and fast rule from the woman when it came to the wedding, and it was that the groom not to rub cake in her face at the reception. Being a reasonable man who knows me well, he didn't. Instead, he grabbed me by the back of my head and shoved my head down into it. It was planned since the cake was destroyed and he had a bunch of cupcakes as a backup. That made her reconsider the relationship, and the next day she told him that they were done. The people around her were trying to get her to reconcile with her husband, and that they were telling her that she was the one that was overreacting. She says, I'm very claustrophobic after a car accident years ago, and she says she panicked when he shoved her into the cake and held her there. This is what I don't like. She says, everyone is so united and confident in their assurance that I am making a terrible decision that I wonder if they are right. In response, Prudent advised the bride to listen to herself, calling the groom's actions a red flag. Everyone's sure you're making a mistake, but they're not the ones who have to wake up every day with a man whose behavior massively turns them off. You are. So you have to only listen to yourself. I think what he did was a red flag about not respecting you and your wishes, to say nothing of the physical aggression. But even if that wasn't enough, the fact that you really don't like it is enough. Make a mental note about which of your loved ones don't seem to value your happiness and continue with your divorce. Why loved ones want women to continue along and be unhappy. That tolerable level of unhappiness is what keeps women in these terrible relationships. When red flags are presented, please listen and take heed. Don't go through a whole life. If he's doing this in public, if he's willing to do this in public, he'll do worse in private.
This guy decided to fist his own wedding cake. I'm not sure why someone would destroy a wedding cake, or any cake in fact. If I was attending that wedding, I'd be a bit pissed off knowing I won't be getting a slice of cake, because Chad here decided to Hulk smash the cake looking like he was about to shout, "It's just a prank, bro." The pin drop silence from the crowd makes it even worse and really awkward, but at least he eventually got a couple of his bros laughing in the background. He looks over at his disappointed wife like, what, isn't this hilarious? Well, I guess the cake is the only thing he got to fist on his wedding night. Leave a comment below and tell me what you'd do if your partner decided to destroy your wedding cake.
I'm seeing very few people talking about what's actually happening in this. His face doesn't suddenly drop because he realizes he destroyed the cake. He clearly destroyed the cake with the first swipe of that giant sword, and we'll come back to how phallic and everything that is, and just straight up toxic masculinity, but we'll circle back to that. His face drops when he hears the reaction of other people. So let's play it back. Here he is, gleefully destroying the cake. Everything's good. Everything's fine. People are reacting with the oohs and ahs, and all of a sudden, face drops. And then that's when he picks up the beer and starts trying to play like, oh, he's so drunk, trying to play it off. Oh, what a big accident. I just was over enthusiastic. What we're seeing in real time is men are being revealed as abusers. and they don't want to be exposed. So they start playing into this, dumb husband, oh, bumbling idiot role. I mean, you guys got to see this in real time. We're going to run it back once more. It's just a few seconds. It starts out, look, he's gleefully destroying the cake. He's destroying the cake actively. He's not stopping. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with this man. But then he hears the sighs. He's looking around. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. He's picking up the bottle. He's acting ashamed. Oh, he's got to wipe the sweat off his brow. I'm so drunk. How can I save the cake? Oh my goodness, I'm just so flustered. And then he gets off camera very quickly. This is all intentional. These guys are so used to intimidating their victims in private that they mess around and forget and abuse them in public. And they're like, oh snap, how am I going to preserve my good guy image? So he knew better than to smash the cake in her face. He's very clever because he knows we've already marked that as abusive. He knows nobody's going to think that's a good natured joke. So instead, he swipes as hard as he can at the cake. He is taking all his frustration out on the cake. He is violent towards this cake. This is what happens when you try to turn a shut up ring into a marriage, ladies. These guys have been clear. They do not want to marry you, and that's not an excuse for his behavior. I'm just saying there were many red flags before this day.
Okay, so why did this man do this? It's not because he has no social skills or is Neanderthal. It's because he hates her. And I know it sounds like I'm being dramatic, but he hates her. I've already done a video on this. Click this comment if you want to see my original take. But men get married because they know that they get all the benefits of marriage. But at the same time, they don't actually want to be married. Now, I'm not saying all men because I'm married. Okay, I say this as a married woman and I'm very happily married. And honestly, I did not want to get married because all I saw for most of my life was husbands who clearly hated their wives. And even if they didn't clearly hate their wives, they were totally fine letting their wives do literally everything. One of my grandmas was literally kept hostage, wanted a divorce. My grandpa refused. So, she boned the neighbor for 20 years. Good for you, Granny. Good for you. My other grandma hated her. Like, they hated each other. Parents got divorced when I was 4. Like, most of the couples I've ever seen, I'm like, okay, what's the point of this? Why are these people together? Because I grew up watching Disney movies where it was like, oh yeah, and then I'm looking around and I'm like, this is not the same. Most men benefit from marriage because they don't plan on doing anything for that couple. They literally just are parasites. And here's the thing, this was fascinating. I'd always heard that men benefit from marriage and they get raises and all that stuff. As soon as we got married, his boss took him a lot more seriously. He took his vacation days a lot more seriously. And if me and my husband had kids, I guarantee you my husband would have gotten a raise. Whereas when women get married, their careers suffer and they do more housework. And then a lot of them are just, schmegs dolls and free therapists and the secretary and the, clown, the little, just entertaining the husband who has no friends. Men literally get all the benefits of marriage.